So we obviously do not know much about the next Witcher game. Obviously it's said to be released in 2026, but who the main character will be, what the open world will look like, we don't know a lot when it comes to the details. And obviously prior to The Witcher 4 or to the next Witcher game, we're getting The Witcher 1 remake, so the focus is probably more on this one for CD Projekt Red. However, I still thought and created my perfect Witcher game in the last couple of months, where we talked about the open world, the main character, and in today's video I wanted to put all of those things together and just really build the core foundation for my perfect Witcher game as a hardcore Witcher fan who has read all the books, played all the games, and even tortured himself through the Witcher series, even through season 3, so I do know one thing or another about that universe. However, when it comes to the open world, I mean, we got to say that we already were able to explore a lot of things and of locations that we knew from the books in the Witcher games. You know, we've had Vizima, we had Novigrad, we have Oxenfurt, big cities and locations that played a huge role in the books. And due to that, I really think that in an upcoming Witcher game, the focus should not be on that part of the world, on the Northern Realms, but you know, expand more. And I've thought about a lot of open world possibilities that we could see here, and my most important thing that I would like to see in an upcoming Witcher game is to really show new horizons when it comes to The Witcher. I mean, think about it. How often have you heard the term Mahakam? How often did you hear a dwarf talking about Mahakam or just glazing about it? I mean, when I think about Mahakam, I really think about something like Erebor from The Hobbit. And I mean, exploring such a location in a Witcher game and having to do quests, you know, go down into the mines. It is also said that Mahakam has beautiful cities in there, so being able to just explore the land of the dwarves would definitely be something that I think a lot of people would absolutely enjoy. Another location that we've also heard a lot of times, and we have seen, well, a little bit in the series, let's call it that, is Brokilon, the Brokilon forest, the home of the Dryads. I mean, we've heard a lot about it, especially in the books, because obviously a big part of it was in Brokilon. Geralt was here, there, but we also hear, especially in The Witcher 1, we hear some Dryads talk about that place, and I mean, it seems to be magical. And while we did see some, you know, forest-like locations in The Witcher games, especially in The Witcher 1 where you had the swamp, imagine a huge, gigantic forest full of beauty and full of dangers, because obviously the Dryads don't want any intruders, and being able to explore this location where we maybe have to do some quests that, let's say, a friend of ours has to get healed, and obviously the best place to do that is Brokilon, and I think sooner or later we'll have to get the Brokilon Forest, because it just is such an important location when it comes to the Witcher universe. And the last location that I would absolutely love to explore is Ophir. And now what spiked my interest very much when it came to Ophir were the two merchants in The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine. Was it Blood and Wine or Hearts of Stone? I think it was Hearts of Stone. And the things that they did there and how they talked about their homeland, it is a completely different thing than one we have seen in prior Witcher games. I mean, think about it. Obviously the Witcher games play in that Polish, Slavic landscape, and Ophir is basically the complete opposite, you know, with deserts that it is said to be extremely hot, but they have apparently also progressed very, very much when it comes to the technology, because obviously the things that those merchants were offering were something that we have not seen in the game before. And Ophir is a place that we really don't hear a lot. We didn't see it in the video games, obviously. It didn't play a huge role in the books and the series, obviously, as well. So that is definitely one big unknown, and it would be very, very nice to experience that. And obviously, in the Witcher universe, there are a lot more locations and places that I would love to visit, like Kovir, Wengerberg, or Aretuza. But those were really my favorite locations that I would love to see in an upcoming Witcher game. And I think they are very, very abstract from what we have seen. I mean, Mahakam is pretty much, you know, the closest what we have been able to explore to Mahakam is probably Vergen from The Witcher 2, but other than that, the only thing that I can think of is Erebor from The Hobbit, and it will be an absolute delight to explore that. Brokilon, obviously, it played a small role in the Witcher series, but we didn't see much of that forest. And Ophir, as I said, is pretty much just a big question mark, because we just know a couple of things, but those things sound damn interesting. And when it comes to the story and the main character, I talked about that in one of my videos. I personally don't want all of those very popular opinions on who should be the next one. I mean, we've heard a lot of times that Ciri would be a good possibility when it came to an upcoming Witcher game. That might be a good possibility, but I mean, imagine the gameplay with Ciri. She was so overpowered in The Witcher 3. It would be hard to make a game that made sense with her. The second one is Vesemir. I like that option much more, definitely. But my favorite one, and what I don't hear people talk about a lot, and it is probably because they haven't read the books and haven't really gotten into the lore of The Witcher, is to play a Witcher in, it doesn't matter which school, but in the golden era, in the golden time of the Witchers, shortly after the creation of them. You know, because if you think about it, in the Witcher games, the Witchers are almost extinct. You know, we have a couple of Witchers, and if we see one, it's close to a miracle. But that wasn't always like that. We have some stories in the books that really talk about that in depth. How many Witchers there were on the planet, and how the, let's call it, business of the Witchers was booming. And I mean, think about Kaer Morhen. Kaer Morhen isn't meant to just host 5 or 6 Witchers like it has in the Witcher games. In Kaer Morhen, literally 50-60 Witchers could sleep in. So think about that, an era where the Witchers actually have a bigger influence on the world, and it doesn't have to be another Witcher of the Wolf school, it can also be the School of the Cat. You know, but I think the possibilities for those games will be definitely way bigger, and it will be just something completely different from what we have seen. And when it comes to the changes that The Witcher 4 should make compared to The Witcher 3, 2 and 1 are pretty much only those things that I talked about, you know, the open world, the story, the main protagonists, but I want them to keep the core, what they have built in The Witcher games, to be the same, because the games were created with so much passion. And let me be honest with you, if The Witcher 4 will be close to what we saw and what we got with The Witcher 3, I will be extremely happy with the game. I really hope that they can translate the atmospheres that they have built in those 3 games into an upcoming Witcher game, and that they can also put such a big focus on quality of the game rather than on quantity and on the size of it. So put interesting quests. You know, The Witcher 3 had undoubtedly the best side quests in all of video games. They were literally better than most main quests from other games, and I want to keep that, and don't rush with the production, because otherwise we'll get a launch like we had with Cyberpunk 2077, which obviously put a big shadow on CD Projekt Red, which was seen as one of the best gaming developers before that launch. It was pretty much untouchable, and I think that they've also learned from that mistake, and that they're going to take their time with the next games. Now that would be my perfect Witcher game. What are your opinions on an upcoming Witcher 4, let's call it? Obviously we'll be getting the remake before that, but still, you know, on the horizon we have already some games announced where we don't really know much about, and I'm very interested in hearing about your opinions on those games. But as I said, for me the best option literally would be to play as a Witcher from any Witcher school in the golden era of the Witchers, and to just explore new locations and new places in this next Witcher game. Alright guys, that was it for me in today's video. I wish you all an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.